My partner lied to me about my engagement ring. I, 26F, got engaged to my boyfriend of 5 years, 30F, a couple of months ago. I'm happy and genuinely looking forward to marrying him, however, recently found out that he was dishonest with me about my engagement ring. A bit of background. We had talked at length about getting engaged and I had shared with him my preferences on an engagement ring. I told him that I would like to shop together, but he said no, that he wanted to pick out the ring without me. At some point leading up, he brought up that he was offered an engagement ring from a member of his family who had been married and divorced. I told him that I did not want the ring from this family member, as their relationship ended in a very messy, mean, and contentious divorce, and I didn't think that it was a good symbol for our marriage. I had never seen the ring nor knew what it looked like. Fast forward to our engagement and my boyfriend proposes with a ring that, honestly, was not my style nor did it reflect the preferences I communicated to him, but I was happy to be engaged. Over the next several weeks, I found out from a member of his family that the ring, in fact, was the ring from the family member that we had talked about, and I explicitly said I did not want. Also, my now fiancé has concocted a story about shopping for and buying the ring as a cover-up that he keeps telling me, our friends, and members of my family. He doesn't know I know. I feel really hurt and sad he would lie to me about the ring. It makes me sad when my friends ask me about the ring and I feel like I can't tell the truth and have to hide how I really feel about it. He is a very practical, frugal person and I wonder if he just didn't want to spend money on a new ring, although we both are very financially comfortable and could easily afford a modest ring. Honestly, I would have happily paid for a ring that I wanted if money was a concern at all. Do you think I should speak to him about my disappointment? I don't want conflict to overshadow the fact that we should be happy and celebrating our engagement. Your fiancé lied to you multiple times. He ignored your preference of a ring. He wanted to cheap out. And you're happy to be engaged to him. Yes, you should talk to him about it. Why did he disrespect you? Why did he lie to you? And is this the first time he's done it? He's a moron as well as a liar. He could have had the stone reset. His dishonesty and obsession over money will escalate. I suggest you insist on couples counseling or break up. Do you think I should speak to him about my disappointment? Yes. A lie of this magnitude is not the right way to start a married life together. Girl, 22, I, 21, have been going out with lashed out at me for using her milk. I, M 21, have been casually going out with this Alex, F 22, for roughly 2 months. We are not in a relationship yet. Things are mostly fine, but the last time I stayed at hers, she lashed out at me for drinking her milk. For context, we both went directly to her apartment after a date. The next morning I had to get up and go to uni for my 9 a.m. class. I made tea, used some of her milk and was on my way to college. After class, I go back to her apartment, we decided this previously, and she lashes out at me for using half her bottle of milk. I thought she was joking, but nope, she was mad. She demanded that I get a new gallon ASAP and before this one runs out. Cool. I told her I would when I come over next time. We have been going out for a while, which she brought up yesterday, and we had the whole exclusive relationship talk. Currently, we are not in a relationship and still causally dating because I am a little weirded out from the whole milk incident. To be entirely honest with y'all, I am here and still talking to her because she's hot and I don't want a few bad incidents to taint this for me, especially if we get into a relationship. I personally would never lash out if someone I was seeing even emptied my milk bottle. Advisable to get into this relationship? I have a gut feeling that this won't be the last time I encounter something like this. Advice? I'm confused. Did you use a tiny bit for tea, or did you use half of a gallon bottle? Honestly, from the girl's point of view, it maybe find it careless that he drank a lot of my milk without telling or asking me. It seems kinda thoughtless. There is potential to resolve this with communication. Still talking to her because she's hot. That's no base for a relationship, my guy. Did you ask first? Have you used her stuff before? Doesn't disregard her lashing out, but how much did you actually use to make her get that mad, especially because she could have just asked you nicely to get more. I, 28F. Need advice on whether this is worth divorcing my husband, 28M, for. We have been married 3 years and I'm seriously thinking about divorce. I was accepted into medical school 2 years ago. Initially, my husband wasn't too thrilled because we were planning on kids and then medical school, since I didn't think I stood a chance. We come from a tiny town where most people get married very young and have children in their early 20s. Since this time, it's been near constant fighting about him wanting kids and me wanting to wait because I don't think I can do both. I'm stressed to my limit. To make things worse, I had to move states to attend school and I thought he would move with me. However, he stayed living in his parents' home and working as a school teacher. I live by myself in my apartment. I asked for him to come with me, but he refused. I don't know. Part of me wants divorce. I hate going back home, because everyone nudges me about having kids and the tension of my dreams and the roles I feel pressured to fulfill is suffocating. I feel like I have no one. If anything, I am almost angry that I'm so alone here yet everyone else's partners support them by coming with them. At the same time, I'm bewildered by the few moments I go on social media. He posts pictures of us weekly, the love of my life. Just wish I had my love. He doesn't visit. He doesn't plan the few vacations we have taken on my breaks. Instead, he just wants babies. I'm trying to work with him, but I don't know what to do. I just can't imagine actually being a doctor with kids and having to be strong for myself like this. Is it wild to ask for a divorce over this? I know everyone will hate me. He's religious and I'm not, so I know this will be very upsetting for his church as well. I'm so conflicted. Sorry if there's tons of grammatical errors. I'm just exhausted and a ton is running through my mind. Too long did not read. I want to finish medical school and my husband wants kids now. Is this worth a divorce? Only you can truly answer that question, but I say yes. You two clearly want very different things. You'll be going through residency soon, with a husband whose idea of support is to make posts on social media. I'd be done. Honestly, you don't live together and you dread seeing him. It already sounds like you are divorced. I'd recommend getting that out of the way before you're a doctor. It's not like you'll have tons of free time, ever. This sounds like a terrible person to be a doctor's partner. Update. I am about to call my marriage off. I just want to thank each and everyone who commented. I am overwhelmed with the advice. I never expected so many people to reach out. I had so many comments. My post is now locked, so I just want to add some context to my previous post. Firstly, a lot of people asking about the nature of the inappropriate texts my fiancée sent to her male coworker. It was sexual in nature, but it was more about the topic of sex itself rather than towards each other, if that makes sense. Her talking about what she likes, and vice versa. They were also giving each other relationship advice. He's also in a failing relationship. While I deem this as inappropriate, there was nothing to outright suggest they were doing anything together. Also, a lot of people judging our age difference. We began dating when she was 18 and I was barely 20. Where I'm from, the age of consent is 16 and these age gaps are certainly not uncommon. I've known 16-yo to date 25-yo and above. Not that I agree with it. As for her antics last night, I've been told she only went back to this dude's house for the sake of her very intoxicated friend. This has since been backed up by my mother-in-law who picked them up in the early hours. I still haven't made a decision on what I plan on doing, but since my first post I have temporarily moved out to give myself thinking space. I've also not been in touch with her in over 6 hours, nor have I told her my whereabouts. I think my main worry is we live in a rented property and neither of us could afford to pay for it alone, so I'm not really sure what my next step will be. Thanks again for all the advice. She failed the long-term partner test. And she's failed repeatedly. You can't fix her. She repeatedly destroyed your trust. You deserve better. Move on, mate. Backed up by my mother-in-law. A mother would lie to the law for their child. A mother who would have to take her daughter in and doesn't want to deal with her shit as she finds a new place to live, would also lie for their child. Just remember that tears of joy. Even if her mother backs up her story, she could have called for a taxi or Uber and they both would have gotten home just fine. There's also the issue with her blocking you, her fiancé, to prevent you from seeing her whereabouts on Snapchat, which you, by your own words, never got an explanation for. That's not helping your ability to trust her at all. If you're still undecided about whether to call off the relationship, then at the very least call of the engagement, marriage. Definitely start looking at a different rental property without her though.